We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Israel.
Watch Anna Kasparian school Ben Shapiro on how Zionism crushed the American economy.
Hold on, when you're talking about the government paying, you're talking about Social Security, which is people's money?
Well, it is.
I just totally reject what you just said about how we're going bankrupt due to Social Security. Really, you don't think like the trillions of dollars we've spent on wars in the Middle East might have something to do with that?
It's not even
our national debt. Our national
Security.
debt shot up significantly after we started invading countries in the Middle East. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars on Israel. Do you think that Social Security is more of an issue compared to how much money we just shell out for conflicts abroad?
In this clip, you've got two Zionists blaming hardworking Americans for the nation's debt, and their solution is to raise the retirement age to 70. On the other side, journalist Anna Kasparian setting the record straight. Our debt didn't explode because of workers or Social Security. It exploded because of Israel. And she was right on the money, because this is what Zionists like Shapiro and Jennings don't want you to know. Social Security isn't a government handout, it's money you've earned. With every paycheck, a portion of your wages is set aside to secure your benefits later in life. Since 2010, however, payroll taxes haven't always covered the full amount of benefits. For example, in 2010, Social Security needed $702 billion to pay benefits, but collected only $677 billion. So the government borrowed $25 billion to make up the difference. Over time, those gaps have added up to about $950 billion in borrowing, an issue that must be addressed to keep the program sustainable. However, what Zionists like Ben Shapiro and Scott Jennings don't want you to do is compare that $950 billion that the government borrowed to close the gap of Social Security to how much it borrowed to give or to fight on behalf of Israel. And we're not just talking about the $310 billion in direct military aid to Israel, but all the wars Israel pushed the U.S. to fight to get rid of its enemies in the Middle East.
Iraq, Iran, and Libya are racing to develop nuclear weapons. Obviously, we'd like to see a regime change, at least I would, in Iran, just as I would like to see in Iraq. The first victory in Afghanistan makes the second victory in Iraq that much easier. The second victory in Iraq will make the third victory that much easier too.
Brown University's Costs of War project estimates that America's wars on Israel's behalf have cost over $8 trillion. Yet Zionists never mention this massive drain because it served Israel's interests. On one hand, they demand raising the retirement age of Americans to 70. On the other, they push America toward its most expensive war yet, with Iran on behalf of Israel. Do you think that American economy can survive Zionism?